Solve the inequality, give the answer using interval notation. We have 2x squared minus 7x greater than 0. To solve a quadratic inequality, the first step is to make sure the quadratic inequality is in standard form, meaning we have the quadratic expression on the left and 0 on the right, which we do. Step 2, we determine the critical points, which are the zeros or solutions to the related quadratic equation, which means to begin, we need to solve 2x squared minus 7x equals 0. We can solve by factoring. Let's factor out x, which gives us x times the quantity 2x minus 7 equals 0. The expression on the left is equal to 0 when x equals 0, or when 2x minus 7 equals 0. So we already know one critical point is x equals 0. Now we need to solve 2x minus 7 equals 0 for x. We add 7 to both sides, and then divide by 2. Which gives us x equals 7 halves, or if we want 3.5. Step 3, we use a critical point to divide the number line into intervals. We plot either open points or closed points based upon the inequality. If we have less than or greater than, we use open points. If we have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, we have closed points. In our case, the inequality symbol is greater than. We plot 0 and 7 halves as open points. Notice if we substitute x equals 0 or x equals 7 halves into the expression on the left, we get 0, and 0 greater than 0 is not true, which is why we have open points, not closed points. The open points indicate these two x values are not part of the solution. We select test points or values from each interval. On the left, let's use x equals -1. In the middle, we'll use x equals 1. On the right, we'll use x equals 4. And now we sub these values into the original inequality to see whether they produce a true or false inequality. If the inequality is true at the test value, the entire interval is true and part of the solution. If the inequality is false at the test value, then the entire interval is false and not part of the solution. We can use the inequality in the original form or factored form. I'm going to go ahead and use factored form, giving us x times the quantity 2x minus 7 greater than 0. And now we'll test x equals -1. We really only care about the sign of the expression on the left at the test value because we're comparing to 0, but I will find the exact value. So when x is -1, on the left we have -1 times the quantity 2 times -1 minus 7 is -9. -1 times -9 is +9. +9 greater than 0 is true. Let's mark the interval true. This indicates that this interval is part of the solution. And now we test x equals 1, which gives us 1 times the quantity 2 times 1 minus 7 is -5. 1 times -5 is -5. -5 greater than 0 is actually false. Let's mark the interval false. And finally, we test x equals 4, which gives us 4 times the quantity 2 times 4 minus 7. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 minus 7 is 1. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 greater than 0 is true. This indicates the graph of our solution is x less than 0 or x greater than 7 halves. We want to express the solution using interval notation. To the left, we're approaching -infinity. To the right, we're approaching infinity. This indicates the solution using interval notation is the open interval from -infinity to 0 union the open interval from 7 halves to infinity. Notice I'm using a rounded parenthesis to the right of 0 and left of 7 halves because we have open points, meaning the endpoints are not included. And finally, before we go, we'll check our solution graphically by graphing the quadratic function y or f of x equals 2x squared minus 7x. I've already set this up on the next slide. Because this is the graph of y equals 2x squared minus 7x, and the inequality is 2x squared minus 7x greater than 0, we're looking for the parts of the graph where y is greater than 0. y is greater than 0 above the x-axis. Notice the quadratic function is above the x-axis here and here. The intervals for x, which the graph is above the x-axis, will give us the solution to the quadratic inequality. Notice the x-intercepts are 0 and 7/2, and the graph is above the x-axis when x is greater than 7/2 or x is less than 0, which remember is our solution to the quadratic inequality. The graph verifies our solution is correct.